We never close. Our special services manager is Helen Waite. If you want special service, go to Helen Waite. Taped on the wall in Tony's Chop House. Some nights you need to get into the car and drive until you find it. That familiar hash house glow that means open all night in Spokane or Hackensack or anywhere between. But it's the brazen nature of the promise spelled out in the window that keeps you coming back. We never close. Times like this, nothing softer, nothing less will do. You are a veteran of the edge of town, an old hand at the middle of nowhere. Sometimes you wake up and you're living your life in the static between stations, between the prayer and the answer, one lover and another. Between jobs or novels or whole religions, you're looking for something to hold on to between right now and sunrise. Two bad dreams, and some nights it takes more than a feather pillow to sustain you. There's something in the way the waitress yells her order to some guy 5 feet away. The same short-order man you always see, same beefy tattoo of a heart, and words the years have finally blurred into the vaguely universal. Maybe born to something, maybe something love, or the name of a ship that went down, or a woman. What matters is he's here unflinchingly for you. He'll do pig in a blanket or pie in the sky, and even his mistakes with eggs are redeemed somewhere in his imagination. Adam and Eve in a padded room, Adam and Eve in hell. With his spatula and maniacal grin, he always puts the fear of someone's God into you good. Tonight, the waitress recites a list of everything she's out of. It's not much compared to yours, that litany of the gone and the going you sang softly back to the radio. When she asks what you're having, you know the obvious answer. Another one of those nights. But instead, you take a guess out loud. Whatever's good, something you haven't had in a while. And you're amazed that she can make it sound so special for a minute, her own apotheosis of one more order of the usual. Your soup turns into yesterday, today, and always. Pin a rose on it, and your hamburger's blessed with a gigantic slice of raw. Coffee, make it sweet, sweetness and light. And you're so lightheaded with wonder, you could almost ask her what she's doing when she gets off. From where you sit, it's hard to tell the color of her eyes, but you'd have to guess some shade of blue, the local color here. Blue plate special, smoke on the rise from a dozen ashtrays. The cop sweet-talking another Danish he won't pay for. An entire row of songs in the jukebox. The blue streak chatter of the woman on the payphone, fingering the dark blue bruise on the back of her neck, and suddenly any blue you brought here with you pales in comparison. It hurts just looking at it and thinking how you'd hold up under that kind of wear, a pain you could actually point to and insist, here's where it all began or went bad or came to an end, depending on who'll listen. Say you can tell from the swelling it's no accident, runs too deep. One night on the way in or out of the kitchen, the love she thought she had coming turned into a sudden blur of hurt. After who knows how long driving alone, this call is finally her way to send it back. It's hard to make out very many of her words, but you're jealous of whoever's anywhere down the line to hear them. Even if she rehearsed every mile of the ride out here, she still doesn't sound sure, doesn't know how to say no more, don't wait up, she won't be back ever. You want to see her slam that receiver into its cradle, want it to sound like the irreversible thunk of a car meeting something alive in the road. The waitress drops a steaming plate at the empty stool next to you. Here's the ladies. she says to no one in particular, and you realize she could be talking to you again. Maybe she's lumped you and the woman on the phone together in the legion of the bruised, the day-old, the bottom of the pot. You're stuck in the middle between denying everything and confessing when she winks and out of nowhere assures you it's working. No matter what she has in mind, you'd like to believe her. She seems so sure that nothing else has broken down or gone wrong since you got here. You'd like to take her home, where she could talk you through those days of more dull ache than you can say. And whatever hunger drove you here in the first place, whatever you wanted so badly you could taste it, you haven't seen anything yet. Ask the woman, now trying to convince the operator this whole thing's been a mistake, one very long wrong number. Ask the waitress who's already running a hot bath in her mind. Miles from here, you'll be alone in the shower singing whatever's left of your heart out, trying to remember how it goes, this exalting of the ordinary. If the night's not good enough the first time, send it back. Pin a rose on it. Yell out of love at the top of your lungs if you have to. Make it sweetness. Make it light. And in the steamed-up bathroom mirror, a little fainter maybe, but right where you wrote it the last time, we never close. You'll see your own face somewhere in that promise, and you'll be just barely back in business again. Sometimes you stay open so long it hurts. Ask the waitress who'll be no good for anything tomorrow. Ask the woman down to her last dime of crying, or the short order man. Put yourself in his place, bent over the grill. The long haul he's in it for, elbow deep in another desperate creation. Doomed to a life without sleep, when some idiot years ago unlocked the door and threw away the key. He's logged so much time waiting for relief that if someone punched in now and put on an apron, he'd have to believe he was seeing things. You'll be shivering in your towel, afraid to admit you still can't help feeling that no matter how long you've been living like this, someone's going even longer out of her way tonight, that any minute she'll walk back in from out of the blue. She's spent all night working up the nerve. It's what she wants if you can find it in your heart. Her hair will be the sheen of brown you remember, and her neck perfect eggshell smooth. Not a single wince in her body. Suddenly it hurts just imagining it, knocks the wind clean out of you, and drops you cold where you live. You open your eyes, and she's really here. Your waitress, laying down everything you once hoped for on the counter, and by now you're wishing it was something else completely. She doesn't need to tell you it's not working anymore. She looks at the plate of eggs next to you, the one the grill man's made up like a face, growing colder every minute. I guess your friend's not very hungry, and you can't remember what you ever saw in her. You don't remember asking for any of this, but here it comes anyway, with your name on it. Yesterday, today, always. And for the first time in your life of places just like this, you can see the cockeyed wisdom in the have-a-hank handkerchiefs for sale behind the counter, in the measured doses of bromo hanging over the cartoon outline of a man with the fizz already gone out of him. They're on hand for the sadness and the burning. Tonight, you understand what you couldn't as a kid in the daylight, when all you could take seriously after lunch was finally buying one of those unbreakable combs. Hard to believe, but there it was, bent over nearly double on its cardboard display. Sweetheart, the only one you'll ever need. 1 dime and it was yours. And it would last. That preposterous strength more than you'd ever need. That good breeze blowing in through every window in the wide open world.